Welcome back to part 2.
Yay!
Okay, well, we're going to have some more poets from the floor. And in the first half, we had 3 poets. We've got 2 people joined us since then, so they're going to read first in this second half. And then the 3 people who read in the first half will read again. It'll work out in some fashion.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
No, take out the whole evening if you do.
I'm miles away, I'm sorry.
Can you settle down in the back, please?
Okay, we're going to kick off then with Andy V.Frost.
Right.
I wasn't going to read tonight. I haven't been writing a lot and I've had a few things going on over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
And just came up to see friends, and hopefully Project the Dawn over there not here. So Patrick's found a way to get me up. Come up again.
Yeah.
Lies into seat.
About 13 years ago I was sort of like finding my way in poetry, and experiments came out of nowhere, and I came out of a church hall one day having heard a poetry performance, and I wanted to do something with the echoes. And I started it off with horses and using the words to accent the sounds I was hearing. Ideally this would be in a place with a microphone and reverb or a bit of echo so I could play with it, but no. And it turned on me. And for a while it was a good poem for me. I liked it, but nothing ever came close to it again. And partly because of what it sounded like, a very famous poem, I stopped using it. I haven't used it for about 10 years. But today, I was looking at the date, and it's the 163rd anniversary of the Charge of the Light Brigade.
Ooh.
That was chance. I was just thinking, hang on, it's October and I've been meaning to read this for several years in October and I never have. And it was by chance today.
Oh.
Charge. Close your eyes. Really. Close your eyes and listen. Tune your senses into one. All together. Now listen and feel with your mind and your body deep within. Deep down. Feel the vibrations coming up through the ground. Getting heavier, louder, thrumming, pounding. Can you feel the ground quaking? Quaking to the crescendo, 2,000 plus hooves are pummeling. Pummeling the earth into submission beneath the thrashings of iron-shod hooves. Hooves on a stampede, sounding off like a rolling thunder. Thundering down the valley, a full charge on the enemy guns. Guns. Can you hear them booming out their staccato barks, barks that bite, spitting out death with hundreds of pieces of grape shot ripping through the ranks of the war horse and their riders screaming charge from their wounds. In defiance they scream aloud is a cry, death to the enemy as they draw their razor-honed swords, excuse me, razor-honed swords flashing from the faint glint of the sun. Are summed in by the mist of the war and cloaked in the dust of the charge. The chargers reach the guns and their defenders. The defenders, the attackers, the impact, the clamour and cacophony of noises, opposing warriors clash. Clashing in vehement brutality, the defenders fall to the sabres slash. Sabres slash, stealing death as they drown in gore and blood. Blood pouring from the wounded as they cry out their pain in dying from their injuries. Can you feel their agony as they slump to the ground? The ground. The ground that is quietening as the charge slows and peters out to a stop. Stopped. Exhausted. No more haste. They have breached the guns. Guns that have been stilled by the death of their bombardiers. Bombardiers who had just dealt their own kind of death. Death to 3/4 of the cavalry ranks. Ranks who charged on orders that were wrong, always wrong. The heroics of fake glory, the dead and its stench. The banquet for the carrion has begun. has begun whilst the cordite still lingers in the air. The air. Will the taint of war ever leave your nostrils? Will you ever stop choking from the dust? Will you ever stop gagging from the taste of blood iron in your throat? Will you ever be free from the nightmares? Come back now. Return and escape. Escape from the horror known as war. You are safe now. So open your eyes and tell me. Were you there? Did you feel it? Were you there? The valley of death.
Yay.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Yeah.
Getting the second half off to a charge. And now I'd like to invite Camilla Reeve, please.
I've just come back from holiday. This wasn't written there, but it was written somewhere very similar. And it's called Time to Play With. So I'd been some years ago to a little town on the southeast corner of Turkey, on the east of the Mediterranean coast. It's an amazing place. And this is a story of what happened there. Time to Play With. The red rose seller trudges past, arms empty, his jaw relaxed at last from hopeful grins, too early to be trading flowers with tourists. So he has time to play with. Up in the campsite on the drifting dunes, someone is fooling with a little drum, picking out rhythms of North Africa, the ancient steppes, and London. Perhaps the drummer's twin lived here before, making Mark Antony and Cleopatra pause to wonder where the distant music came from before they shared their world-transforming kiss. It is the year of European Union, the hour when shade still cools the ancient sand, the moment when a single leaf's descent rings louder than the evening that will come. Two people whisper underneath my balcony, a man and woman, low and passionate. Are they descended from some great ones? Are all of us inheritors? Behind their murmurs sound the lapping waves, as softly spoken and drawn out as tender greetings. Inshallah, washing the beach so its blank canvas can be imprinted by each person's footprints. The year, the hour, the moment balance here, and I have time to play with too. This is about a different kind of journey. Some years ago, my son married an American girl and went to live in her town, which was in the Midwest. And he and I went for a very brief journey up to the Great Lakes, just the two of us, and walked on the beach. And there was so much I wanted to say to him, and I couldn't. The gap between them. They walk, mother and grown-up son, snow gone at last on sand. A few days till they part. She wants to touch his hand, would do so with her daughters, restricts herself to leaning on his arm, then lets him go again. Bay shore, scraped, icy raw by wind, no shelter here from Arctic storms. Austere, a giving no quarter land, stripped down to fundamentals, functional, resolute, plain, unsoftened but for the light buff fuzz of last year's reeds. She wonders, what else is there to say? This is his place now. This vast, seasonally glaciated chunk of the world's surface, spreading east and north and west, so very far yet never far as her. Any remark might be perceived as critical of his decision or simply desperation. Yet saying nothing, under the arch of such a teal blue sky, flashed back from lake and beach-wide pools, such sticky buds, wind-driven sideways and about to burst. Seems like being surly. She photographs the bay, the reeds, the buds, shares the photo with him, feels less alone.
Thank you, Camilla. And now the other three poets I mentioned earlier are owed a poem each. So I'm going to call up Steve Tasane. Please, Steve.
Yeah, I think I'll do the Lowdown Rap.
Lowdown.
Yeah, I assume we got Lowdown fans in the house. So he, as you know, if you've read the Big Friendly Giant and Willy Wonka and whatever, he uses these made-up words called gobblefunk. So I wanted to write a poem that used his gobblefunk language, and this is it. I cut my teeth on the BFG and passed Miss Honey's spelling bee. Now I've got more wit than the twits have nits and have dolls, chickens guiding me. I sound absolutely wondercrump, chanting glorious gobblefunk. See, I'm tuned to a different bandwidth. I share a love of lick-squishy language, closer cut than a hand-tongue sandwich, with vocal portitos shootled from the hip lip. I speak fizz-whizzing Wiglish. But back when we was twiddly toddlers, terrified by big blood bottlers, stood stock still with gogglers clocked on the telly bunkum box with muted electronic devices, we was quiet as mices until we discovered our noise of choice is our voices. We was a lawless chorus, first-class raucous, squawky talkers, not exactly what the textbooks taught us. We had an inkling, we was born twinkling, in our own winkles we was wopsy riffling. From inkstand to mic stand, we grew up in a country called Inkland. I never had to dabble, pick a raw battle. All I ever did was scribble, bibble and jabble. I was a snapper whipping kiddle, my scribbling didn't fibble, I said it straight, I'd never swizz figgle. But a bunch of rambunctious trunchbulls got grub slittingly grumptious at this rumple-dumpers. Those blood-bottling bog-rotters, those grizzly old grunions called me troublesome muggle-wump, a stupid and puny one. They were dogs-waddling, quadrobbling, foulsome fizz-wigglers. But what did I know? I was just a squinky chiddler. Yes, I was a natterbox chat bag, a catastrophe catastrophe, but I gave myself a medal because I said it satisfactorily. They claimed it was impossible. I'd end up at the hospital with a rattle in my windpipe and my tongue around my tonsicles. What a lot of poppy rock, rummy top rub squash. If my buttons get pushed, I'm a human buzz bomb. My splendiferous lyrics will exhibit the critics. My piggery jokery is totally diddly. I'm not dumb silly, but I speak bizarrely. It's those vicious noolies whose language is gnarly. My rhymes are sweeter than all the chocolates of Charlie. For my grand finale, I speak superstarly. I'm a waxy word artist, truly, darly.
Steve is an old friend of Dodo, so we're glad to see him back. Lovely to hear you. And Joseph Mattey, please, once again.
Oh.
I did this festival in North Yorkshire called Willow Man, and it's all going great, but most of my stuff's got loads of swearing in it because that's what I do. And about 5 minutes before I went on, the MC said, "It is family friendly, isn't it?" And the stuff I performed, I managed to sort of like change the fucks and the cunts to fracking and trumps or something like that. But some of it worked, some of it didn't, and I'm trying to find something which I didn't do because of its, well, here we go. Okay, so a block of flats I live in has got 8 flats. Yep, flats 1 to 8, strange enough. And someone said, "Have you heard about the people who are moving into flat 9? And I went, "There isn't a flat 9. And I thought, ooh, there might be. Lines on unseen neighbours. Have you seen the people from number 9? They are so boorish, little better than swine. She's covered in ugly, self-done tattoos. His face has got cuts, always sports a bruise. That unwashed shit and piss-reeking clothes cause you to step aside and hold your nose. his carbuncle cock and his prolapse pussy. They don't care as they're not that fussy, and if you're ever so unlucky, they'll try and pull you in just fucking flee. Have you seen the people from number 9? Oh, they are so beautiful and frankly divine. She has a figure to cause cars to crash. He's well turned out, always cuts the dash. They have ship-launchingly lovely faces. See them, your jaw drops and your pulse it races. Things in the boudoir are never pedantic. Their lovemaking goes beyond the tantric. And if you're ever so lucky, they'll invite you in for a fucking tea. But
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
And finally, from the open mic poets tonight, one more poem from Kate B.Hall.
Some people might have heard this before, but I love it. I was doing a poetry school class and we had to write a lullaby. So this is my lullaby. Good evening, good night, pleasant dreams, sleep tight. Daddy will take you upstairs. Mummy will keep by you till you sleep and dream of fairy fairs. If the fairies come here, we will have to take care, or they'll swap you for another. Then we'll never know, when the differences show, if you're really your sister's brother.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you to all the open mic poets. And